The company I work for is Panzura, and we simply help organizations increase performance, become ransomware resilient, and reduce overall storage costs. And in my time with you guys today, we'll talk about how we do that and how it pertains to businesses.
Great, thank you. Mr. Harris, it's back to you, sir.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. As you saw in the invitation, our topic today, technology, business friend or foe. So I'd like to begin by talking about the formula for building a business to sell for a premium price, because that really is what we're all about doing. I encourage every one of my clients to build their business to sell from day one. Not that you have to sell it, but the highest prices for any business are offered not when you decide to sell, but when somebody else decides they want to buy your business. So you make yourself attractive, whereas those of you who've done my program, getting the fish to chase the boat, the ultimate catch is when somebody chases you and says they'd like to buy your company and you have no urgency to sell. So you've heard me say I divide the world into two pieces: the strategic part, which is what are we doing and why are we doing it? And the tactical part is what do we have to do to make what we want to happen. So the goal here is to build a business to sell for a premium price. And the way we roll technology into that is how do we get technology to ensure that we are one of the businesses that survive rather than one of the 80% who fail. And then how do we use technology to leverage resources in our business to build our clientele, our cash flow, our profitability, the accumulation of capital, so that we have value that someone else wants to buy. Why is this important? Because if you expect to retire on the money you get from selling your business, that business will have to be a cash generator. 80% of businesses fail before they're 10 years old. Congratulations to you. If you're older than 10 years, you're a survivor. But 80% of the survivors, in other words, 80% of the 20%, remember 80% fail, so that leaves 20%. 80% of that 20% that succeed or survive past the 10-year mark never sell because they have not built a business that can generate cash without them. They don't sell because they haven't been systematized to operate by remote control. So here's the formula that is the formula for creating a business that will sell for a multiple of its EBITDA. Systems run businesses. Management hires people to operate those systems. Systems create alignment. Alignment creates momentum. Momentum drives revenue. Revenue drives profit. Profit drives EBITDA, that's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. And EBITDA drives the selling price of your business. EBITDA is simply the measure of how much cash your business generates. And as business owners, we must focus on increasing EBITDA if we want our business to sell for a premium instead of distressed asset value. Because I'll guarantee you, you can't retire and live on the proceeds from selling your business for distressed asset value. You want to create a premium value, which means that well-worn phrase that you've heard before, that it pays to work on your business instead of in your business. And this is a struggle for business owners who grew up doing something very well, got into a business that was their passion, and they spend 40 years or 30 years doing it, but never building an enterprise that can operate without them. And that's where they lose. Very difficult for entrepreneurs to let go because they love what they do and they do it with a passion, but they never transition into that role of building an enterprise that generates cash without them. And that's why we have so many people who fail. And that's why I have so many people who survive by the skin of their teeth and they retire and they have to close the business down, but they never walk away with a big paycheck. So if I just describe you, then today's meeting is going to be an accelerator for you. in terms of how using technology to create a premium price for your business. Technology is like compound interest. It either works for you or against you. It's always working. It's a principle that always works. And the statement that you've heard me use to describe compound interest is when money makes money, the money makes more money. So you want to transition your work life from selling your time for money to accumulating capital that can earn a return that allows your money to make money. And when that money makes money sufficient to cover your living expenses, you're now financially free. So when money makes money, the money makes more money. That's compound interest. It can work against you though, if you're paying interest on high interest credit cards. And I see this every day. Somebody comes to me with a list of debts and they're paying 25, 30% interest on a debt that they had to incur to keep their business going because it hadn't been systematized. And so it's always about last minute emergencies. Okay, I got room on this credit card. I'll make the payroll by borrowing it from my credit card, whatever the story is. So when the credit card company is collecting your money, then they're the ones whose money is making money. So the money they make makes more money. When you are investing in some asset class that makes money, then you're on top of the heap and somebody else is paying. So you have to decide which side of that equation you're on and make some adjustments to get on top of the game. Same with technology. You have to do an assessment, just have a conversation with yourself and figure out if it's working for you or against you. And then adjust to tilt the odds in your favor. So let's examine a few areas where technology plays a big role in business today. One is communication. Now, sooner than later, I hear somebody tell me that they're buried in emails. That they can't even get through them every day. That they get hundreds of emails. Well, anybody know the open rate for emails? It's around 13%, I think. What is it? Lower?
Yeah, it's lower. It's less than 11%.
Okay, okay. So that means you have about a 9% or 8% likelihood that somebody is going to answer your email unless you have made it absolutely compelling in the subject to get them to want to open it. So just the volume of emails is a problem. That's technology. It's made it easy for somebody to just email everybody. And so they do. Just like Facebook and and the other social media platforms have made it easy for anybody to give their opinion. Could be a very uninformed opinion, but everybody has a right to get online and spout their onions and give their opinion. Doesn't mean it has value. It may have value for somebody, but it may not be value for you. But you're stuck with sorting through all of that stuff to get to the ones that are most important. So there's the challenge, the burden of excessive emails. Well, those emails are being done by people who are using email marketing. So the question is, are you using email in your marketing? Yes or no? A lot of the emails you get are spam to you, but they're somebody's effort to try to get your attention to what they have to sell or the value that they're trying to deliver. So that email communication and email marketing is one area of technology that in today's world you have to deal with. And like I said, I have clients who just say that they're covered up in emails, they can't even get through them all. And so they wind up trying to get through them all every day and never getting the most important thing done. Online banking. Banks are winding down branch operations. They're not opening branches like they used to. Very expensive. And they have to hire people to staff them. When you go to Costco, they used to have 10 checkout lines. Now they have fewer checkout lines and these automatic kiosks where you can check out yourself. So I'm an old guy and I can get a little grouchy sometimes. So I was at Costco and they just installed one of these. So I'm standing in line waiting to be helped. And the manager comes over and says, "Oh, we have this kiosk here. Why don't you step over here and I'll show you how to use it." I said, "If I want to learn to use one of those, I'll order what I need on Amazon and screw you." So that was just one of my bad moments that day. I really not like that. But anyway, I made the point. If I come here, I expect some customer service. That's why I'm here. You can be replaced with a computer screen if that's how you want to do business. Now, I understand they're just automating the checkout process, but I'm an entrepreneur. I want somebody to have a job working there. I don't want them to replace their people with machines. Now, I'll be honest, I can't stop it. I'll never be able to stop it, but that doesn't mean I can't speak out against it and let them know that this is the way you make a business special today by standing out from the crowd. And there are people that are just naturally going to want to go through the automatic checkout. They don't want to deal with the person that's behind the cash register. I get that. So, but anyway, so online banking, automatic teller machines, banks are winding down branch operations. They're moving to digital money. We had a session a few months ago on digital cash, the war on cash. Bankers that I know are working from home. They don't even go to the branch anymore. So that's a change that's made possible by technology. Websites, more business is being done on website now. COVID accelerated that. It was well underway before that. It was a trend long before that COVID, but COVID just accelerated that. So there's more business being done online than ever before. And I think we've reached a tipping point now. If somebody knows this statistic, please jump in with it. I'm quite sure there's more business done online now than there's done in actual physical locations. I can't verify that, but we're moving in that direction for sure. Think of Amazon, e-commerce. When I moved to Elm Grove 25 years ago, it was really, it was right near Brookfield Square, and the malls were hopping, and maybe it was a time when Blue Mound was not yet a total row of businesses on either side of the street. It was still being built up in some areas. Now those businesses are closing. I mean, there must be 10 or 12 restaurants along Blue Mound Road that aren't there anymore. There are other businesses that aren't there anymore. And other areas of the city or of the community have become much more vibrant commercially than Blue Mountain Road. So retail locations are closing. And so my question is yours next? So our topic today about technology has to do with data, and data is big business, as in collecting your data is big business. Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, PayPal, Instagram, arm's length list of others make a business of collecting your data and selling it or using it so that they can direct marketing messages to you that fit what you need. I mean, I know I'm older. I don't feel older, but I know that I'm older because my mailbox gets filled with senior living centers that want me to move there. So the question is, are you collecting data on your customers? Do you know who's coming into your store? Do you know why they're there? Do you keep track of what they bought? Do you keep track of how often they bought? This is all data collection and data management. So under data management, we have issues like security. We have issues like organizing that data so you can actually use it. I have one client who has 40 years of records in a house that he uses as an office that he can't work out of because it's so filled with old records, 40 years worth. He has the data, but he can't use it. If they piled it on his chest, he'd die. He wouldn't be able to breathe. So I'm trying to get him to sort through that, collect the stuff that's worth it, put it in a database use it to let the customers know he's still alive instead of buried under all of these boxes of data. And so to use that as a lever to more business rather than a burden that keeps him from doing the most important thing every day. CRM systems, customer relationship management. How do you put that, have a container to put that data in? So in the consulting work that I do for larger companies, I have a platform called the Stuck Breakthrough Strategies platform. And it helps companies organize their data into 5 pillars of success. Financial, because you have to run your business by the numbers. Customer delight, because you've got to delight your customers. And of course, CVS did not delight me the other day when they tried to get me to check out on an automated checkout system. Innovation, what else can you do that you're not doing that would bring more value to your customers? Productivity, what have you invested in and are you getting a return on it? And fourth, culture, is this a great place to work? Those are the 5 things that every company needs to pay attention to if they're going to grow and scale. So I work with a system that creates focus on 5 areas that every business needs to capitalize on to grow and prosper. Now we have people on this call who are expert in various areas that I've talked about today. Nancy, would you just unmute and tell everybody a little bit about, Nancy, I know works on websites. Can you hear me, Nancy? Yeah.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
take a minute and tell everybody what you could do to help them update their website so they get more business from the web.
Well, post-COVID, I've discovered a rather interesting trend. Before COVID, business owners always expressed a concern about technology and how it was getting out of control, at least for them. And they didn't know how to handle it or adapt to it. I would call that being a Luddite, because in the late 18th century, when steam looms first came into business along riverbanks, some of the people surrounding them didn't like the idea of mechanizing power looms, and they go into the factories and smash them up. So it's the same kind of attitude. It's modern Ludditism is somebody just simply does not wish to get involved with technology. They hate it, they fear it, and they just don't want to have anything to do with it. But after COVID, they've been, because of all the online increased activity, they have to seriously consider, number one, what is the condition of their existing website? How can they attract customers? Because guess what? That's where everybody's going now. Yes, you still have to go out to a store under certain circumstances, but most of the time you start off first with the web. So the first thing that I emphasize with the state-of-the-art web is take a serious look at your website and what it's doing for your customers, or what it can do that would be something new, exciting for the customers who are still struggling to get rid of the COVID thing. And also make sure that you get found, because that's one thing that a lot of business owners haven't done is search engine optimization. I mean, particularly if you're a local business and people know, say, the name of your store, do they know how to find you online? There's some very simple things that you can do with a very low budget in certain areas to get your name out there. For example, did you know that on Google, if you type in the name of your business, you can actually take out a free ad on Google where the search results come up with the name and information on your business in a right sidebar. Boom, there you are. You're not paying for anything, just the name recognition is there, but people have to, if they start looking for it, you pop up. That's what you want. And then you want to get them into the site, figure out what they're looking for, maybe historically, and then get them to snap at an offer so that you can either collect their names for future reference or get into a conversation with them. And here's the second thing I found. People not only want to buy stuff online, but they want help with any questions they may have. So once they find you, I've noticed that there are a number of chat systems that are popping up. People may not like those either because they take too long and are cumbersome. So then you still have to have another system on your website to communicate. And that means maybe an effective contact us page where you respond quickly, or other ways where you assure people who may be Luddites too, that you're going to take care of them regardless of the technology. And so in doing what I do, my emphasis is don't worry about the technology. Just tell me what you want to do and let's get it done.
Very good, thank you. And I've worked with Nancy. I know what a resource she can be in helping you to move. And you've heard me say, done is better than perfect. So if you're not optimizing the return on your investment in your website, she can help you update it. She can help you create a new one. She can help you create search engine optimization to maximize the return you get from your website. And that's one of the things, that's one of the takeaways here. Not only do you know that's important, now you have somebody that you can contact that's in this same group that could help you. So that's kind of that's why we put this group together. And here we are, and now we have a resource in the group that can help you if you need it. So, and I'd like to move on to Dylan. And he's just taken a job with a company that focuses on data management and how to organize your data with a product that he sells. So Dylan, would you just take some time here and share what you're doing and how it could help the small business owner?
Absolutely, Chuck. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So I'm not a big fan of PowerPoint, but I do believe a little eye candy to keep us on track is always helpful. So you guys should be able to see my screen, and really it's all about just following context here. So let's talk about a couple things. Nancy just said some really important things. Data is an all-time explosive growth right now. Back in 1998, Merrill Lynch stated that 80% or more of all data is unstructured, which means I'll speak layman's terms here, which means every piece of data that is inputted in one of these devices or any one of the multitude of devices that we use, any data that you plug in your information at a store, at a website, all of that is just pure raw data. It's the unstructured data. And in today's world, data has become currency. How many of you have driven by a Starbucks and a moments later you get an email popped up that says, enjoy a Starbucks coffee for 50% off, right? That is data. That data is very, very valuable for Starbucks in that instance, right? So at Pinzero, what we do is we help you to increase performance, become ransomware resilient, and reduce overall storage cost. And I'll talk to you about how we do that. We do that basically by deduping and compressing your data. So taking large sums of files and making them small, because we all pay for bandwidth and we all pay for storage. And so ideally what we're able to do is save you on that bandwidth and storage. We're able to lock files because of our immutable data structure. Once you create a file and once you set it up, you cannot change it. Nancy, you know how important that is for websites, for example. I enter a website, I cannot mess with any of the minutia on the background. I can only input, right? Read only or limited write access. So fast forward to 2012, the IDC, Dell EMC said that by 2020, last year, we would be at 40 zettabytes of data. We're beyond petabytes, we're into zettabytes now. The reality is today in 2021, organizations actually have about 72 zettabytes. That includes organizations like yours all the way up to the Northwestern Mutuals of the world. It's said that by 2025, we'll have 163 zettabytes of data. So everything that Nancy and Chuck just said, those stats support those, that businesses are becoming more online present. We are being required to give more data. And in some cases, data is being mined from us unknowingly, right? Here's the reality of things. Every app that we use for business or personal, we also get a little checkbox that says, allow this app to access your contacts, your phone, your camera, and everything else. Data, 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 right? Because at the end of the day, we are all dollars and cents to those companies, to those apps. So what we're going to talk about today, I think is going to really relate to what Chuck said, right? So businesses are about speed, about cost savings, and how do we secure the IP? And that's what Panzura does. So we're a 13-year-old company. We have over 34 patents, and we play in the arena of global file systems. So what does that mean? Here's again some eye candy about some of the other things we talked about. What does that mean? Like Chuck said, the business owner that has, 40 boxes of data sitting in the basement, that is unstructured data.
Yep.
For the past 20 years, if Chuck calls me up and says, hey, Dylan, can you go get me that file on Tom and that thing we talked about last year? I have to go into the basement, find a box that's labeled T or G, right? Find Tom Ginn, pull out his files, look for it. Hopefully I have some stuff that has been highlighted that pertains to the information that Chuck is wanting, and then I bring it to Chuck. Well, we've been able to create that in an electronic system, and we call that NAS, right? Network Attached Storage. So we're all sitting in a building. We all have access to this virtual filing cabinet that sits in the basement. And instead of physically walking down to the basement and getting the file for Tom Ginn, I just go online, I type in his name, and I have access to all his files. Does that make sense? Pretty simple stuff, right? So that structure really hasn't changed a lot, but what has changed? The world has changed. And especially now that we're in this post-COVID world, or right smack in the middle of it, however you want to look at it, we are all working in smaller groups and we're all working more remotely. So now we no longer have the access to that file, if you will, that sits in the basement at the corporate office. And so because of technology, we've now been able to access those files from different locations, our homes, different co-working spaces. The problem is now we have to travel even further to get to that basement of the corporate office. So while we have access to share, it's become very slow, right? Does that make sense? Yep. So now I literally have to jump in my car, drive to the corporate office, get security to unlock the door, walk into the basement, get it, have security check the files to make sure that I'm only getting the files for Tom Ginn, and then get back to my home and work on it. That's what it looks like. So today we are a multi-cloud data management platform that provides global consistency. And why is that important? Because now I have multiple users, right? I have a user in London, I have a user in New York City, and I have a user that's sitting out in Oconomowoc. And we all want to access those files. Now, when we talk about cloud, regardless if you're in a technology business or not, cloud is very, very, very pertinent today. Everything we do is on the cloud. Chuck talked about Facebook. That is cloud, right? The file cabinet that I have in the basement, that is cloud. If I take those files and convert them to PDFs and load them on a server or storage device, that's still cloud. So in the world of cloud, it's on-prem or off-prem is the key thing. And whether you have 1 or 100, 5 or 500 locations, we still need to look for a way to act as if we're in the confinements of the same 4 walls, if you will. And again, it comes down to performance, security, and overall cost, right? So now every time that Nancy goes in and updates someone's website and creates a new file for them, or maybe updates the About Me, on the back end, that is being saved somewhere. So now whether that's being hosted by Wix or WordPress or any of the other ones, it's being saved somewhere. Now, as a business owner, the one thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to duplicate files and have a stack of folders this large for something that we only need 1 copy of. And essentially that's what happens. So having the functionality of locking files. So now if Tom is working on a file, if Nancy's working on a file, and if Chuck are working on a file in different locations, they cannot override each other's files, because as you can imagine, that causes a lot of mass confusion, right? For those of you that have multiple people in your businesses, if multiple people update files and you pull a file at noon, you're not always 100% on which is the latest and greatest file. So some of the ways that we secure our technology is by locking the files. And again, when we talked about New York, London, or Economolock, we know that we're accessing the latest files. So Nancy, if you were to update my website for me today, and I wanted to go live tomorrow with it, how this pertains is that now you know without a question that you're working on the most updated site. So when you deliver it to me, I don't mistakenly go live with my site from a week ago, and now my product set has changed. Does that make sense? Right? Again, we have those immediate global consistencies. So in this arena here, locally, we have a lot of manufacturing. So we'll take the big motorcycle company, for example. If they've got, folks working on a design for a new gas tank, and someone in London, someone in Economolock, or someone in New York City is changing the shape of that. Think of it this way. If I change the shape of that gas tank by 1 millimeter, that could equate to thousands, if not millions of dollars in production time and material. So we want to make sure that the files are consistent across the board, right? And then we want to make sure that things are performing, that we have the best performance. And so how many iPhone users out here? I would imagine that probably at least 50% of this call is probably iPhone or Apple users, right? Mac OS. If you look here, how do we stack up against the marketplace? How do we stack up against competitors in what we do? NPS. Are you guys familiar with NPS scores? Net Promoter Scores, right? It's what your customers are saying about you. One of the most recognizable brands in the world has an NPS of 89. If you look at some of the other companies out there that we all know Southwestern Airlines, we all use Pandora. Veeam is a very specific to the industry, but they're well below that. We rank it at 87%, or 87 is our score. So we're scoring along with the best of the best. That's just a social proof in what we do, right? So ideally, what we do is we give customers a different way to look at files and to look at the way that we've been accessing files. So we're able to consolidate storage. We're able to give you disaster recovery, file sync, and backup all in a nutshell. We are able to help you manage your sets of data as you're in one centralized location. There's some things we do that I won't jump into that's really technical, but we literally work with files at the block level to make sure that, again, if ransomware comes up and someone's trying to hold your data hostage, there's no reason to pay those fees. And we all know that in today's world, someone may have malicious intent in attacking your data, and they don't want anything to do with your data. All they want is you to be able to pay them to release your data so you can get back to work. I'll ask you this. If any one of you on this call have lost access to your data, can you continue to produce revenue? Right? Chuck, something as simple as your mailing list, right? If your database was hacked, I would not have been able to get your newsletter. I would not have been able to get the invite for this call. That affects your money, my money, and everyone else's money. So becoming ransomware resilient allows you to be in a place of power. And Chuck always talks about, the power of position to make choices. And so we're able to help you build that as well. Chuck, I'll stop there and just go with a quick time check.
Okay,
How are we doing?
great. Anybody have any questions for Dylan?
So I'll close it up in saying this, Chuck. While while this product may not be 100% applicable to your businesses today, I'm certain that you can see the framework that I've talked about with security, with increased performance, and with overall reduction in storage costs. We can say that overall reduction in OPEX. Those all lend to what I call a Chuckism, right? It's the things that Chuck say over and over that no matter how hard we try, we cannot get it out of our heads. And so I'm open for you guys to reach out to if you want to have conversations on how this pertains to your business and how it pertains to your overall flow. But as Chuck says, it's all about acceleration. And what I presented to you today, I'm sure, regardless if you can use the product within your business or not, the framework itself always lends to acceleration. So you can't accelerate until you get started. So until you start looking at your business in a way that you can systematize it, you can increase performance, you can reduce overall OPEX, and you can become resilient against attack, then you're able to accelerate your business.
Great. Dylan, could you put in the chat your contact information?
Yes.
So I can capture that, and you reach out to you. It may pertain to what they're doing, or they may know another business entity that can benefit from this. This is recorded today as well. So we're going to be able to repurpose this.
Perfect.
So yeah, so your email and all that. So Dylan, thanks much for sharing this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, folks.
Now, Tom is involved in multiple opportunities to accelerate your business through the management of data. So Tom, why don't you finish up here with what you can bring to the table?
Well, what Nancy said and what Dylan said, and of course what Chuck has said, is these are all things we need to either work towards and plan to get them in place. But I'm going to bring it back down and talk about many times in business, small business in particular, are putting the cart before the horse. And what I mean by that, yeah, we need to have technology. We need to plan and get those in place. But the number one thing any small business needs to do is get the horse, the customer revenue going, so that you can transition and take advantage of the technologies that you're going to need as you scale and grow. So a lot of, I see it happen with a lot of businesses. They go to the horse and they forgot about the cart. You know, excuse me, I got to flip there. So, but what I want to talk about is how are you going to use technology in your day-to-day marketing? And right now, a lot of people, yes, I got Facebook, I've got LinkedIn, I'm using Twitter, I'm using all these things, but you may have accounts, but are you leveraging them in a way to gain new customers? And so today I'm going to share with you, I don't have the great eye candy that Dylan had on his slide presentation, but I'm going to share my screen here. So let's see, there it is. Thumbs up if everybody can see it. Can we see that? All right. So what I want to talk about real briefly, we got about 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to go through some things. I'm implementing these in my business. And since last year's occurrence, and we're still in this situation, the C thing, it's caused me to change and do things differently. It's accelerated my business exponentially. So I want to talk a little bit about technology, integrated marketing strategies. My question is, what are you doing in your marketing? I find a lot of small businesses don't have a marketing strategy. They think because they have a website, that's marketing. What are you doing to push that out there so people know you? Like Nancy was saying, a lot of people say, I got a Facebook or LinkedIn account. What are you doing to leverage yourself in that space? I've got a Twitter account. I've got whatever it is, the social media platforms is where it's happening. So what are you doing to leverage technology in an integrated approach? I'm talking about what you can do today to build quicker. I'm going to talk about business currency and evaluate this currency as we go through here. There's a new normal, integrated marketing strategies. Marketing, no one marketing strategy works, but collectively and leveraged properly, you can get new customers quicker, build loyalty, do those type of things. So a lot of people talk about my brand, color of your logo, the logo itself, all those things are important, but the brand itself isn't going to get you new customers. And I want to cover some things I think are really important in evaluating what you're doing in your marketing. The new currencies for business success. Integrated marketing, using all the platforms and leveraging them so they're working for you and tying it all together. Currency number one, differentiality. What differentiates you from your competitors? And there's a lot of things you can do to differentiate yourself. If you're a CPA, the question comes down, why do you do what you do? What is your differentiality from the CPA down the street? Or if you're a website developer or you're in manufacturing, what is your differentiation? You got to get very clear on how to do that. I'm going to share some very simple things, how you do that instantaneously. Currency of top of mind. What are you doing? This is marketing. We hear it all the time. Dylan mentioned that you're driving down the street and you get a ping on your phone from Starbucks. Top of mind, marketing, advertising. What are you doing so that when somebody's thinking about a website, Nancy comes to top of mind? What are you doing to be top of mind? Getting attention. How are you getting attention to you? And a lot of people have, well, my attention is got my website. That without a strategy, your website's not going to do you any good. I call them electronic, what we call it, flyers, brochures, if it doesn't have a good strategy behind it. Here's the number one currency in business, relationships. What are you doing to create new relations, nurture the existing, not just in the moment? Most marketing I see is transactional in messaging. You've got to evaluate, is it transactional, and move to your messaging to relationship marketing. People don't care about what you do and how you do it. That's transactional. They care about what you do for why you do it. And if you can touch that and be very clear who your audience is and how do you get a new prospect, build a relationship quicker. You know, the old way, I'm going to network meetings, I'm going to go here and I'm going to do that. There may be hybrids to that, of being in presence with people, building that one-on-one relationship. With technology, there's a shift in that. So the currency is, the biggest is know your why. I'm a big Simon Sinek person. If that will resonate, more important, you're not all things to all people, no matter how good you think your business is. Everybody may need it, but you got to know who you're going to resonate in the marketplace. How do you increase your business currency? And I'm talking at the granular, at this place, what I'm called, to move into higher technology, leveraging those things, you've got to, number one, start getting, how do I get new customers first? If you're making tons of investments on technology, but you're not driving relationship, top of mind, at that granular level, there's a time and a place, and have a strategy with. That's where Chuck comes in and different consultants help you make a strategy move into those areas in a consultative way. How do you build a relationship with your customers and clients right now? You know, Dylan talked about your data. The number one piece of inventory that you have for your business is people. How do you organize them? How do you communicate with them? That's your inventory in business. It's not what's in the warehouse. It's your relationships with people. How big is that? How are you nurturing that? Your brand is not just your logo, colors, and fonts. People get hung up on that, and it's an important factor. Do you really know your why? Can you articulate that in 30 seconds to a minute, when, like Chuck talks about it all the time? People got to know why you do what you do. Do people really understand what you do? And lots of times, Donna was talking about the emails, Chuck was talking about the emails. I guarantee you, most of us are not copyright people. We can't communicate in a way to get people's attention. So how are you going to solve that problem? Is there confusion and uncertainty with your relationship with customers? And how do you clean that up? Because it's costly to you. If they're not clear what you do, they're going to move on. Are you creating a human bond in your marketing? Well, let's talk about something very simple that you could be doing today. You have to ask these questions. What are you doing in your marketing? And I'm going to introduce some things here that anybody can do today and implement today and grow their brand, grow their customer base, nurture their existing data, and get more revenue quicker with what I'm going to share with you today. How are you going to do this? You got to understand communicating your why. The power of video. Content is going away. People's attention span is less than a goldfish. But video, if you're not using video in your websites, you're not using video in your marketing, you're not using video in your email, and you're not putting your marketing out in video content through Facebook, and you're using what I call an integration process, the power of direct mail is the tie that can really turn your business into a rocket ship. Here's the new normal in marketing: live streaming. What does that mean? You get on in front of your computer every day or every other day, 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, and you're giving value to the marketplace. Live streaming to an audience through your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, and you're building an audience, you're building a following. You're not selling, it's a relationship, adding value, live streaming. I've implemented it in my business, and now I've got exposure. In one presentation, I had access to 1 million people to hear my message through the person I had relationship with that shared it out. Video email. We talk about, you know that statistically emails, you're going to get open rates less than 11%. So they talk about marketing, the subject line, all that stuff. But if you make a reference that there's a personalized message, a video for you, they will open up. Your open rate goes 60 to 80%. And guess what? You got a 31-minute message about what you're communicating with, whether it be a new prospect message, whether it be an existing customer, you're following up on a proposal. You can get more done in 30 seconds to a minute than you trying to craft an email with text. Are you using video? Are you using the power of mail? Direct mail. The big players in the marketplace know that direct mail is still one of the most effective ways to generate new business. Most small businesses can't afford that process. I have found a platform that makes it affordable in the marketing strategies, and this is the integration. What are you doing in your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your Instagram, Periscope? There are over 30 different social media platforms that you can market to, and some of those platforms are your customers that you can message to. You need to know that. This is statistics. Streaming, 80% of customers would rather watch a live video than read a blog. Video streaming is expected to account for 82% of all internet traffic in 2020. We're past that, it's already going up. Consumers, your clients, your prospects, 39% more likely to share your content. I know somebody that has a debt problem. I'm a debt reduction specialist. Doesn't apply to you, but my cousin does. They're more likely to push your content off to somebody else into a marketplace you would never have been able to reach. 40% of the U.S. population live stream online, live stream online in 2018. It's up now. 45% of our consumers would pay for live exclusive video for their favorites. Millennials are the largest consumer of creative market. So a lot of people, no matter where your business is, millennials are understanding this technology, is using it in a very effective way. Facebook Live is the most commonly listed platform for live consumption. When I do a live stream, I do one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I bring guests in, I bring added value in. It's relationship building, it's not selling. And it's dramatically saving my business. Going back to having email, in your email, you're going to open up a video before you open content. 60 to 80% open rate. Videos are for real. Got to be using them. No matter whether you're in manufacturing, whether you're insurance, sales, you've got to be using video in your communications. Those that are relying on old tech, the email, knowing you only get 11, what if you can create 100% open rate with a new prospect or an existing customer? Even your existing customers are deleting your emails, right? Yeah, they're busy, they're scrolling, they're only hitting those things that are relevant to this moment. Yeah, they love Chuck, they want to get back to, but Chuck's not important to me today. So they delete that message or put it in the save folder. So, but if you integrate this one strategy, direct mail, when you meet somebody in an event like this and they get something in the mail addressed to them, open rate is 80% or higher. Now you're building relationship. You're doing something that no one else is doing. Differentiation. How many times we all have intention to send a prospect or a customer a card, but guess what? We're busy. What if you can automate that process? That creates a top of mind. Direct mail pieces, whether it be a postcard or whether it be a card, stays on the desk 17 days. 17 days. So when you get something that's personalized to you, you are now building a relationship in a different way. %100% open rate if you have something customized to them. What about a little package? They just became a customer and you sent them a customized thank you mug, or you sent them something sweet like a customized baked brownie. What would that do? That's building relationship. Builds differentiality, builds relationships different, and it builds likability. Hey, you spent some money on me. I like that. People, if you send somebody a card versus a birthday card in an email, you're differentiating. The average person only gets 2 mailed birthday cards in the United States. What if you were one of those 2 in business, had a program that would send a birthday card to all your prospects and your existing customers? The new normal marketing, live streaming, video content, and everything you do, video, email, and then coupling. This is not replacing. They now start working in a way that gives you a quicker client development, long-term client relationship, renewal business. All those things are important to us. Are you just selling one and done? Then this doesn't apply to you. But if you're looking to build a business where you build relationships, repeat customers, you've got to be using this strategy. And I didn't come up with any ideas. I'm in another business network with some of the best marketing people in the world. That's what I'm learning from. I go to the best. And if you want to know specifically what we do, but a lot of people, Nancy alluded to that, they don't want to deal with technology. They're worried about, whatever they do, making their widgets, or whatever it is, they're not comfortable with the camera. Well, guess what I tell you? If you don't get comfortable with the camera, you're going to be out of business. You got to move to that direction at some capacity. I don't have time. Time is relative to the priorities you have for your business. If you want to grow your business, you want to repeat more customers, you will find the time to start learning and implement these at 1 degree increments. Eat that elephant one bite at a time. I can't afford to do anything else. Some of these strategies will reduce your marketing cost, not increase them. I guarantee you that. People don't like change. It's human nature. You got to learn new things. You got to be relevant. You got to be on that cutting edge. That's your differentiation. Here are these links. It'll be in the video. I use streaming. Anybody wants to know about streamlining, how do you start elementary, how to do that? I can give you some advice of what to do. I'm going to share with you Hippo Video. Hippo Video is the best platform I've seen for email. There's other platforms out there like BombBomb and Vineyard, but this is the most robust, most cost-effective email marketing campaign. It integrates with all your email, integrates with LinkedIn, it integrates with any marketing channel you have, less than $30 a month. Your email isn't working now. Try video. And then Mailbox Power. This is a direct mail program that I've implemented in my business a year ago. Yeah, it's been a year ago, this August, September, then a year. And let me share with you integrating StreamYard, Hippo, and Mailbox Power has shifted my business. I get more appointments, more closes, and developing different type of business relationships that are opening up doors I would never had before. So you want to learn more about that? I just thank you for being here today. Okay.
Hey, Tom, I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
Great content. Everything that you just shared is spot on. I think the power of branding is so big, and the power of those, 30-second video clips sticks way more. Do you offer coaching to your clients on, one of the things that kind of stood out is if you're afraid to be in front of the camera, do you offer coaching or guidance to your clients on how to build video content that's relative to their business and strategy around that?
I can do that. That's something that's not within what I do, but I can have some conversation. I'd lead you to a gentleman called Ken Walls, the #1 trainer and developer of live streaming in the world.
Okay.
Yeah. So if a person's really serious, wants to take their game in live streaming to another level, I could link anybody up with that. I've enrolled in that program, weekly masterminds, and with some of the best marketing and business people in the world in that group. Seriously. I'm not going to drop names, but if you become you'll be rubbing elbows with people like Jeffrey Gittamore, Soto, Branson, a lot of different people in this group using these technologies. Okay. Hippo Video, Jeffrey Gittamore. If anybody know who Jeffrey Gittamore is, the little red book is selling.
No.
He teaches that. Hippo has a great learning platform. Mailbox Power. I do offer training consultation on how to use Hippo. If you subscribe to those, these are affiliate links. Anything I use in my business, I recommend this to every business. If you decide to use it, yes, I get paid, full disclosure, a little affiliate commission on it. But if you enroll, I will give you an hour on how to set up your Hippo. I'm going to, Chuck, can I have about 20 seconds, about a minute here?
Sure.
I'm going to show you a Hippo video and how I use it for all. I've got 6 or 7 templates that I use for different strategies in my communication with my prospects or customers. And I'm going to show this just so you have an idea. I'm just going to grab one. I'm going to log in.
Awesome. Thank you.
Just give me a moment here. I'll open up my account. I'm going to share again. I have created a email template for all my business entities. And I'm just going to grab one. I'm going to put it up in the link here. Direct mail still works. I'm going to open up. So this would be a template I can send to you. It's pre-created. If I do an email, I can override this video right here in here, but this is what it is. This is Hippo video. Has full editing things.
Hey, Tom, Ginn here. I am super excited. I just want to share something with you. You know, in business, we're always trying to differentiate ourselves. We're trying to make sure we build the best relationships we can with our prospects. You know, we get busy and sometimes we'd like to send a car or send a card or send a gift. And just time doesn't permit sometimes. But I ran across something.
But that gives you the power, that's a template. But if I want to send Chuck an email and promote and have him take a look at this, that video I record in my email overrides that templated video. So I can use it in my marketing. I can get a 30-second communication out just like that. It's great for no matter what business. You can attach your proposals to it. You can do a lot of crazy good stuff with it. And Hippo integrates. If you're marketing and building relationships in the business market through LinkedIn, I can go to your LinkedIn profile. Instead of do a connect, I could put a video right in that live, right on the spot.
I love that. I think the power of video is so neat. And listen, I'll throw this out there. If there's anyone in the group or if there's anyone that you work with that needs some help in getting comfortable in front of the camera and being able to articulate, you know, a 3-part message within a framework that is 100% designed to capture and retain attention, please reach out to me. Use the contact information there. You know, I've built a LinkedIn following from 1,500 to over 10,000, creeping in on 11,000 now. And the majority of that has been done through branding video. And with over 100 videos and over 100,000 views or multiple 100,000 views, it's been great for my brand. It's been great for my network within the community. And I think everyone here as business owners, if we're not utilizing video and platform, we're missing out on money. Absolutely missing out on money. You know, back in the 30s, the Industrial Revolution was the biggest boom in our country's history. Now we're actually seeing the digital boom, which trumps that. Right. And if you're not taking advantage of that digital space, and if you're not taking advantage of the personal brand, Napoleon Hill even said it, that personal brands of services are going to be the one thing that produces the most millionaires, if you will. And I don't know about you guys, but the time that we've invested here today is great for communication and great for community, but it's about making money. And the biggest thing you can do for your personal brand is to put, again, another Chuckism, right, is to connect with people that believe what you believe. And the way to do that is to put what you believe out there on a platform such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or in our cases where our fish are swimming, LinkedIn. So connect with me. I'd love to partner up with you on anything like that, Tom. And I'm here to help serve the community.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that much. Chuck, I'm going to turn it back to you. Mike, I'm going to put in the chat. I use a platform called StreamYard. I'm just going to put that in my chat. Anybody can schedule an appointment with me. So let me put that in. Chuck, go ahead. I'm just typing here.
Okay, well, I think this was a great meeting. I hope you got I know you got some information that you can use today. And you've all heard me say information is worthless to you to actually take it and do something with it. So decide what you're going to do with it. Decide one thing that you'll do today to take advantage of something we've talked about today. And you will be on your way to growing your business, growing your revenue, growing your cash flow, and creating a business that will have value beyond anything you can imagine compared to what it is today. Because for most of us today, our work is a job, and we approach it as a job that is from 9 to 5. But when you leverage technology, it can be working for you 24/7 and multiply the inflow of cash to your business, which makes you a survivor instead of a failure. And then ultimately that pyramids you, catapults you to growth that will make you one of the wealthy few who finish strong and sell their business for a premium price. So thanks for being here today.
I got one comment, Chuck.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll let you, going
All
back to
right.
the live stream, I want to share something with you and just think about this use of business. I don't think live stream is going to be for me. Here was a gentleman on our group, novice in business, novice in marketing, and novice in everything and aspect, but he had a vision and he had a goal. He started live streaming a year ago this time. Today, on a monthly basis, he has a following of over 1 million people. So 1 million people in a month follow him. He has gone from being broke to making 6-digit incomes a month. And he is no different than anybody here. He just understood, he trusted some of the people teach him how to do it, and he did it. Imagine that if you can take your business, Michael, and get 1 million people following you because your message is right. What's the chances of you converting them?
Be pretty good. Hey, do we have your phone number?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Going in. And that link tree also is my calendar link. Everything's there. So you see the link tree / Sudoku group, everything's in there that I have any way to get a hold of me. Chuck, back to you.
No, I'm done. I appreciate your being here. I think we brought some value to you today. Now you take that, put it to work for yourself, and you take your value, crystallize, clarify your value, put that out to people, and you'll have fish chasing your boat, which is my wish for everybody, that the fish would chase your boat.
Great. God bless everybody. Have a great day, great weekend. We'll see you next month.
Thanks, everyone.